and trainers, professors and professionals, listeners and learners from the field of science, religion, arts, commerce, engineering. The most honorable President Prime Minister, Saint Dr. Narendra Modi ji, presence of respected doctors and ministers, reverend fathers and mothers, affectionate sons and daughters. I, Dr. Rakesh from USA, heartily, cordially welcome all of you. It is really nice time, nice place, nice section. You are learning life skills. It is very important time. You are learning with 100% present sense of mind the truth of life skills. Management is applicable everywhere and has become the key to success in the modern world. Every organization requires making of decisions, coordination of activities, handling of people, and control of operation directed towards its objectives. Numerous activities have their specific types of management problems and are discussed under such headings as farm management, management of health, delivery systems, school management, public enterprise management, marketing management, production or operations management, and others. All have certain elements in common. This book summarizes some of the essential concepts and techniques of management that are fundamental to various applications. Change is an important feature of modern organizations, which are managed as open systems. Significant changes take place frequently in the economics, technological, political, and social environment of modern organizations. In order to keep pace with these changes, every organization requires information from the external environment and ensure healthy organization environment interface. Certain recent changes such as revolution in information technology, liberalization of economy, trend towards globalization of economy, growth of multinational corporation, etc., have altered the relative opportunities for managers. To achieve success in managing, a manager must have a thorough knowledge of management concepts, principles and techniques, and possess skills to deal with the environmental forces effectively. Definition of management: it is very difficult to give a precise meaning of the term management. In the management literature, we find a large number of definitions of management given by different authors. However, the different viewpoints may be classified into these points. Management as an art of getting things done. Management as a process. Management as a group of managers. Management as a discipline. Management as an art of getting things done. Mark Parker Folak defined management as the art of getting things done through others. This definition emphasizes that the managers achieve organizational objectives by getting work done through the workers. It represents the traditional view of management order, management under which workers are treated as a factor of production only. The definition of incomplete in the present context, its deficiencies are these definition is vague as it does not identify the functions which a manager had to perform to get results from others. It gives the impression of the manipulative characters of the practice of management. The employees are merely treated as means for getting results. In other words, their position is like a cog in the wheel. This definition ignores the needs of the workers and does not offer them human treatments. The concept of getting things done through others further depicts the management is a sort of one-way traffic. The workers are supposed to do whatever they are told and they have no say in the organization. Such a view cannot be accepted, particularly when the employees are educated and have faith in democracy. Therefore, the employees should not be treated as mere commodity or means to achieve certain ends. Their needs and aspirations should be given proper consideration. They must be satisfied to ensure their maximum contribution for the realization of organizational objectives. The management is certainly more than just getting things done through others. It may be viewed as a technique of getting things done through others by satisfying their needs and providing them opportunities in growth and advancement. It is appropriate to quote Harold Kuntas, who defined management as the art of getting things from the art of getting things done through and with people in formally organized groups. It is the art of creating an environment in which people can perform as individuals and yet cooperate towards attainment of group goals. Further, managing involves certain functions such as planning, organization, staffing, leading and controlling. Management as a process. According to McFarland, management is that process by which managers create, direct, maintain and operate purposive organizations through systematic, coordinated and cooperative human effort. This definition gives us an idea about what the managers do, though it does not lay down the exact nomenclatures of the various functions of management. Henry Fayol viewed management as a process consisting of 5 functions, which every manager performs. To manage is to forecast and plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate and to control. However, modern authors do not view coordination as a separate function of management. They consider it as the essence of managing. The process of management involves the definition of objectives and putting them into action. In the words of George R. Terry, management is a distinct process consisting of activities of planning, organizing, actuating and controlling, performed to determine and accomplish stated objectives with the use of human beings and other resources. This definition clearly identifies 4 functions of management, but modern trend is to classify managerial functions into 5 categories that are planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Men and women, human resources, materials, machines, methods, money, capital and markets are utilized by the management to produce the goods and services desired by the society. The elements of the elements or function of management are stated. Planning. It means determine the objectives of the unit or activity. It also involves deciding in advance as to what is to be done, how and when. Organizing. It refers to identification of activities to be carried out, grouping of similar activities, and creation of departments. Organization also leads to creation of authority and responsibility relationships throughout the enterprise. Staffing. It involves manpower, planning, employment of personnel and their training, appraisal, remuneration, etc. Directing. It is a very broad function concerned with the interpersonal relations. It includes communication with subordinates, providing them leadership and also motivating them. Controlling. It refers to comparing the actual performance with the plans or standards. Corrective steps are taken when the actual performance is not up to the mark. Why is management called a process? Management is called a process because it comprises a series of functions that lead to the achievement of certain objectives. When a manager reaches the last spent, that is control, his job does not end here. He will again start with planning on the basis of his observations and experience and his projection about the future. One can't say that a manager will organize only when the job of planning is over or will direct only when the stage of organizing is complete. In practice, a manager has to perform these functions simultaneously to achieve the desired objectives. Thus, management is a never-ending process. Management as continuous process. It does not stop anywhere. When a manager reaches the last step, that is control, his job does not end here. Actually, he will again start with planning on the basis of his past observations and experience, along with his projection about the future. The functions of management are interdependent and interrelated. There is an interaction between the functions as shown here. Moreover, in actual practice, there is no rigid sequence of the functions of management. Every manager has to perform these functions simultaneously to achieve the objective of the company. Management as a group of managers. Management as a group of managers. The term management is frequently used to denote a group of managerial personnel. When one says that management of this company is very efficient, it is implied that the persons who are looking after the affairs of the company are very efficient. Thus, management is the body or group of people which perform certain managerial functions for the accomplishment of predetermined goals. These people are individually known as managers. A manager is a person who performs the managerial functions of planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. Since a manager performs the managerial functions, he is a member of the management. Used in this sense, management may be termed as the group of managerial personnel, but in practice the term management is used to denote the top management of the organization. It is the top management which is concerned with goal determination, strategic planning, policy formulation and overall control of the organization. Management has been widely recognized as a discipline or field of study. It is taught as a specialized branch of knowledge in educational institutions. As a field of study, the subject includes management concepts, principles, techniques, and skills. Management is a multidisciplinary discipline. It has drawn heavily from anthropology, psychology, sociology, etc. After obtaining a diploma or degree in management, a person can try for a managerial job. Management is both an art and a science. The knowledge, skill, technique, and principles which managers use in managing are broadly referred to as the field of management. It is regarded as an art because the performance of managerial functions requires certain skills which are personal possession. Management is recognized as a science because it has developed certain principles, generalizations, and techniques which have more or less universal application. That is why it is taught in universities and other institutions as a discipline. As a discipline, it consists of a specific body of knowledge which the students of management study. Thus, if one says that he is a student of management, it is obvious that he is studying a particular field of learning. Nature of management. Management is a distinct activity, economic resource. Management is an important economic resource together with land, labor, and capital. As industrialization grows, the need for managers increases. Efficient management is the most critical input in the success of any organized group activity, as it is the force which assembles and integrates other factors of production, namely labor, capital, and materials. Inputs of labor, capital, and materials do not by themselves ensure production. They require the catalyst of management to produce goods and services required by the society. Thus, management is an essential ingredient of an organization. Goal oriented. Management is a purposeful activity. It coordinates the efforts of workers to achieve the goals of the organization. The success of management is measured by the extent to which the organizational goals are achieved. It is imperative that the organizational goals must be well defined and properly understood by the managers of various levels. Distinct process. Management is a distinct process consisting of such functions as planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. These functions are so interwoven that it is not possible to lay down exactly the sequence of various functions or their relative significance. In essence, the person of management involves decision making and putting of decisions into practice. Integrative force. The essence of management is integration of human and other resources to achieve the desired objectives. All these resources are made available to those who manage. Managers are apply knowledge, experience, and management principles for getting the results from the workers by the use of known human resources. Managers also seek to harmonize the individual's goals with the organizational goals for the smooth working of the organization. Intangible force. Management has been called an unseen force. Its presence is evidenced by the result of its efforts: orderliness, informed employees, buoyant spirit, and adequate work output. Thus, feeling of management is result oriented. One may not see with a naked eyes the functioning of management, but its results are apparently known. People often remark of the effectiveness of management on the basis of the end results, although they can't observe it during operation, results through others. The managers cannot do everything themselves. They must have the necessary ability and skills to get work accomplished through the efforts of others. They must motivate the subordinates for the accomplishment of the task assigned to them. A science and an art. Management has an organized body of knowledge consisting of well-defined concepts, principles, and techniques which have wide applications, so it is treated as a science. The application of these concepts, principles, and techniques requires specialized knowledge and skills on the part of the manager. Since the skills acquired by a manager are his personal possession, management is viewed as an art, system of authority. Management as a team of managers represents a system of authority or a hierarchy of command and control. Managers at different levels possess varying degrees of authority, which gets gradually reduced as you go down in the hierarchy. Authority enables the managers to perform their functions effectively. Multidisciplinary subject. Management has grown as a field of study, taking the help of so many other disciplines such as engineering, anthropology, sociology, and psychology. Much of the management literature is the result of the association of these disciplines. For instance, productivity orientation drew its inspiration from industrial engineering and human relations orientation from psychology. Similarly, sociology and operations research has also contributed to the development of management science. Universal application. Management is universal in character. The principles and techniques of management are equally applicable in the field of business, education, military, government, and hospital. Henry Foyle suggested that principles are working guidelines which are flexible and capable of adaptation by every organization where the efforts of human beings are to be coordinated. Management, a science and an art. Management has come to be recognized as a science recently. Prior to this, the knowledge of the practices of management was not only systematically organized, and experience was the only way to acquire the skills of managing. But now management has been given the shape of an organized body of knowledge by the management practitioners and scholars. This organized body of knowledge has its own distinct boundaries and fields of activity. Its study helps in gaining a rational approach to the development of means for accomplishing certain goals. That is why management is called a science. As a science is a systematically organized body of knowledge based on proper findings and exact principles and is capable of verification. It is a reservoir of fundamental truths and its findings apply safely in all these situations. The generalizations are made on the basis of empirical studies and so they may be applicable in future also. Any subject which is scientifically developed and consists a subject should have the following characteristic. One is it should have a systematized body of knowledge including concepts, principles, and theories. It should have a method of scientific inquiry. It should enable cause and effect relationships. Its principles should be verifiable. It should ensure predictable results. It should have universal application. It can't be denied that management has a systematized body of knowledge pertaining to its field. But management is not as exact a science as other physical science like astronomy, physics, chemistry, biology, etc. Are the main reason for the exactness of science of management is that it deals with the people, and it is very difficult to predict their behavior accurately since it is a social process. It falls in the area of social sciences. Management is a universal phenomena, but its theories and principles may produce different results in different situations. Management is a behavioral science. Its principles and theories are situation bound, because of which their applicability does not necessarily lead to the same results every time. That is why Ernest Dale has called management as a soft science. As an art, art is the bringing about a desired result through the application of skills. It is concerned with the application of knowledge and skills. If a science is learnt, an art is practiced. Stated differently, science is to seek knowledge and art is to apply knowledge. Thus, an art has features. It denotes personal skills in a particular field of human activity. It signifies practical knowledge. It helps in achieving concrete results. It is creative in nature. Every manager has to apply certain knowledge and skills while dealing with the people to achieve the desired results. Management is one of the most creative arts as it requires a vast knowledge and certain innovating, initiating, implementing and integrating skills in relation to goals, resources, techniques and results. Welding and molding the behavior of people at work towards achievement of certain goals in a changing environment is an art of the highest order. As an art, management calls for a corpus of abilities, skills and judgment and a continuous practice of management concepts and principles. A manager A manager is an artist because he applies the knowledge gained from the study of science of management for managing humans and other resources. A person cannot be called a manager if he does not have the skills to apply the knowledge of management. Thus, the management does involve the use of know, how and skills for the achievement of concrete results. Like any art, management is creative in the sense that managers create new concepts and practices for further improvement. The creative managers make things happen. From the above discussion, we can say that management is both a science and an art. It is considered a science because it has an organized body of knowledge which contains certain universal truths. It is also called an art because managing requires certain skills which are the personal possession of the managers. Science provides the knowledge about certain things and art teaches to do certain things by the application of knowledge and skills. For instance, a medical doctor acquires the knowledge in chemistry, biology and anatomy, but the knowledge does not make him a good physician. He has to apply his knowledge intelligently. His knowledge in perceiving how and when to use his knowledge is very important to make him a good physician. Similarly, a manager To be successful must acquire the knowledge of science of management and also learn to apply this knowledge. A manager should be an applied scientist. He should possess not only specialized knowledge of management but also the skill to put his knowledge into practice. Just as a doctor uses his knowledge to cure his patients, a manager should use his knowledge to solve the problem in managing men, materials, machines, methods, and money. It has been aptly remarked that management is the oldest of art and youngest of sciences. Management is as old as the civilization, but its emergence as a scientific field of inquiry is comparatively new. Management and emerging profession. The professionals enjoy high status in every society. Individuals desire to join a profession like medicine, chartered accountant, engineering and law. There has been a growing trend towards professionalization of management, primarily because of the desire of business leaders for social status and recognition. A profession may be defined as an occupation backed by specialized knowledge and training, whose codes of conduct is regulated by a professional body and which is duly recognized by the society. The basic requirements of a profession are knowledge, a substantial and expanding body of knowledge and information in the concerned field. Competent application, skilled and judicious utilization of knowledge in the solution of complex and important problems. This requires education and training in the specified field. Professional body, regulation of entry into the profession and conduct of members by the representative body, self-control, an established code of conduct enforced by the profession's membership, social responsibility, primarily motivated by the desire to serve others and the community, community approval, recognition of profession status by the society. Does management satisfy the test of a profession? The application of the above test or criterion to management is examined below. One is specialized knowledge. There exists a rapid expanding body of knowledge underlying the field of management. Since the beginning of this century, many thinkers on management have contributed to the field of management. Now we have systematic body of knowledge that can be used for the development of managers. Management is widely taught in the universities and other educational institutions as a discipline. Competent application, education and training. MBAs are generally preferred for managerial jobs. Though MBA degree is not necessary to enter this profession, persons with degree in psychology, persons with degree in psychology, engineering, etc. can also take up managerial jobs. Thus, there are no standard qualification for managers. Managerial skills can't be learned by trial and error method. To be successful manager, it is essential to acquire management skills through formal education and training. Many institutes of management have been functioning in India and other countries which offer MBA, note other courses in management. Professional body. For the regulation of any profession, The existence of a representative bodies is must. For example, the Institution of Chartered Accountants of India lays down the standards of education and training for those who want to enter the accounting profession. Some organizations such as the Indian Management Association and the All India Management Association have been set up in India, but none of these have any legal authority to prescribe minimum qualification for taking up managerial posts or to regulate the conduct of managers, as is the case with the Medical Council of India and Bar Council of India. Self-control or code of conduct. Every profession must have a code of conduct which prescribe norms of professional ethics for its members, but there is no universally accepted code of conduct for the practicing managers. The All India Management Association has prescribed a code of managers, but it has no power to take action against any manager who does not follow this code. Social responsibility. Managers of today recognize their social responsibilities towards customers, workers, and other groups. Their actions are influenced by social norms and values. That is why managers enjoy a respectable position in the society, as is the case with doctors, chartered accountants, etc. Society's approval. The managers of modern organizations enjoy respect in the society. There is typically a positive correlation between a manager's rank and his status in the organization where he is working. This status tends to affect the manager's status outside the organization. Thus, community improves management as a profession. It seems presumptuous to classify management as a profession. By all the benchmarks, the professionalization of management is still far from complete. It meets the above criteria of a profession only partially, as discussed here. Though management has a well-defined body of knowledge, it is difficult to say whether management meets the criterion of competent application. It is not obligatory to possess specific qualifications for being appointed as a manager, but to practice law, one has to be a graduate in the laws. Similar is the position with the medical profession. Education and training in management are also getting importance day by day in the industrial world. There is a professional body to regulate the educational and training standards of the managers. For instance, there is a Bar Council of India to regulate the legal profession. It is encouraging to note that management associations are growing fast throughout the world. It is expected that they will be able to develop norms of behavior for the practicing managers. Management does not satisfy the test of self-controls, as there is no central body to lay down and enforce professional standards and code of conduct for the managers. Thus, it may be concluded that management does not fulfill all the requirements of a profession. Therefore, it can't be fully recognized as a profession. However, it is moving in their direction because the field of management is supported by a well-defined body of knowledge that can be taught and learned. Management of modern organizations requires competent application of management principles, techniques and skills. Thus, there is a great need of formal education and training in management. That is why the demand for management degree is increasing rapidly. Managers are aware of their social responsibilities toward various groups of their society. In their actions, they are guided by their social obligations rather than their personal interactions or interests. Professionalization of management in India. There is a strong case for professionalization of management in India because professionalization will define the duties and responsibilities of managers precisely. This will help in laying down standards of education and training for future managers. Professionalization would improve the quality of management, education and training. More talented and dynamic young persons would be attracted to adopt management as a career. Professionalization would help in regulating the conduct of professional managers. This would strengthen ethical practices by the organizations. Professionalization of management would improve the status and prestige of managers. It would remove the impression that managers are interested only in maximizing wealth of shareholders. They should be seen as catalysts of change in the economy. Business environment in future will be more challenging because of technological innovations, abrupt changes in economic policies of the government, rise of multinational corporations, and increasing consciousness on the part of consumer and workers. Only the professional managers would be able to meet and challenges. Besides the above factors, two more factors have contributed to the above to move towards professionalization of managers in India. First, the growth of private sector has been faster than that of the business. Families controlling about the 3/4 of the private sector. Secondly, the growth of the public sector has given an honorable place to the professional managers in the industrial enterprises run by the government. It has come to be realized in India that management is a key factor in the development of the economy. Social and economic transformation is taking place at a very rapid speed. The expectations of the people from the business have changed and they have found the ways to express their expectations. People and their elected representatives have made the business enterprises understand their social obligations. No business enterprise can perform its social obligation unless it is managed by professional managers. Moreover, management of industrial enterprises has become a very complex job because of a number of factors including tough competition in the market, growth of trade union movement, increase in literacy level of the worker, and increasing participation of government in business. All these factors have given way to the professionalization of management in our country. Formal education and training in management is being imparted to the students at various universities and institutes. The Institute of Chartered Management Association has also been established for the benchmarks of management, education and development of future managers. The company form of business organization has gained popularity. The divorce between management and ownership of the companies has increased the need of professional managers. Even the owner-managed companies and other enterprises employ professional managers because of the specialized knowledge required in managing the different areas of business like production, finance, personnel, marketing, etc. In short, it can be said that professional status for management in India is assured because it will satisfy all the elements of a profession in the future. The society has also started organizing management as a profession. It is a pity that management development programs run by the so-called management institutes have been very costly. Quite often, advertisements are inserted in newspapers and professional journals inviting the practicing managers or executives to participate in such programs. The fee is within the range of rupees 20,000 to rupees 50,000 for some programs of 4 to 5 days which are conducted in 5-star hotels. Naturally, the participants are drawn from big organizations which pay for the expenses incurred by their employers in attending such programs. It is difficult to say that the participants and their organizations are really benefited from the so-called executive development programs. The 5-star culture has evolved at the cost of the school shareholders, workers and customers of big business houses in the name of professionalization of management. Management versus administration. There has been some controversy over the use of terms management, administration and organization. At the outset, it may be pointed out that organization is a narrower term as compared to the management process. The organization function of management deals with the division of work among individuals, creation of structure of relationship in terms of authority and responsibility, and laying down the channels of communication. A debate is very often raised as to whether or not there is a difference between management and administration. Conflicting views by various authors have led to some confusion over the use of these terms. American authors like Ted, Schultz, Oliver Sheldon, and William Spiegel considered administration as a broader activity and management as a narrower activity. But British authors like Bench and Kimball considered management wider than administration. The latest view is that there is no distinction between the two terms. Thus, the debate over the use of the terms management and administration has given rise to the viewpoints. Administration is a higher level function concerned with the determination of policies, whereas management with the implementation of policies. Management is a generic term and includes administration. There is no distinction between management and administration, and both the terms are used interchangeably. Administration is a higher level function. The first viewpoint considers administration as a determinative function and management as an executive function. William Newman, William R. Spiegel, Oliver Sheldon, and Ted believe that administration involves the overall setting of major objectives, determination of policies, identifying of general purpose, laying down broad programs, major projects, and so forth. Management, according to them, refers essentially to the executive function, that is the active direction of human efforts with a view to getting things done. Thus, it could be said the administration, by and large, is more determinative, whereas management, by and large, is essentially executive. Management is a generic term. The second viewpoint regards management as a generic term, including administration. According to Bench, management is a social process entailing responsibility for the effective and economical planning and regulation of the operation of an enterprise in fulfillment of a given purpose. Administration is that part of management which is concerned with the installation and carrying out of the procedures by which the program is laid down and communicated, and the progress of activities is regulated and checked against plans. Thus Bench conceived administration as a part of management. Kimball also subscribed to this view. According to these management scientists, management is put at the same pedestal at which Spiegel, Oliver, Sheldon, Sluice, and Odva Trad have put administration. Thus, the first and the second viewpoint are exactly opposite to one another. Management and administration are synonymous terms. The modern viewpoint is that there is no distinction between the terms management and administration. Usage also provides no distinction between these terms. The term management is used for higher executive functions like determination of policies, planning, organizing, directing and controlling in the business circles, while the term administration is used for the same set of functions in the government circles. So there is no difference between these two terms and they are often used interchangeably. The distinction between management and administration may be of academic interest, but in practical life, this distinction seems superfluous. Even if we accept the distinction made by Sheldon or Tad, it will be very difficult to demarcate between the so-called administrative and managerial functions because the same set of persons perform these functions. In order to do away with the controversy, we can classify management into administration manager, administrative management and operative management. Administrative management is primarily concerned with laying down policies and determination of goals, whereas operative management is concerned with the implementation of the policies for the achievement of goals. But both these functions, that is framing of policies and executing them, are performed by the same set or group of individuals known as managers. Every manager spends a part of his time in performing administrative management functions and the remaining time on operative management functions. The managers who are higher up in hierarchy by devote more time on administrative function. They are known as top management. Top management devotes a major portion of its time in determination of objectives and laying down of policies. Managers at the lower levels in the hierarchy devote comparatively less time and administrative functions, and they are concerned more with directing, coordinating and control functions of management for the achievement of organizational objective. This approach of viewing the management is more practical because we do not need two groups of people to discharge administrative and operative management functions. In fact, every manager performs all the managerial functions through emphasis is important at various levels. Functions of management. Management of a modern business enterprise is a complex process. It is very difficult to understand the real nature of this process without studying its various facts, without studying its various facets. In the process of managing, a manager performs various functions for the achievement of predetermined objectives. Many authorities and scholars on management have discussed the functions of management, but there is no unanimity among them about the known nomenclatures of the functions of management. It was Henry Fayol who gave for the first time a functional definition of management. According to him, to manage is to forecast and plan, to organize, to command, to coordinate and to control. Thus Fayol and analyzed the following 5 functions of management. First is forecasting and planning, second is organizing, third is commanding, fourth is coordinating, fifth is control. Ralph Davis classified managerial functions into 3 categories, that are planning, organizing and control. He was of the view that command and coordination of facilities control and therefore should be considered as parts of it. However, some authors argue that coordination is not a separate function as it is the essence of management. Luther Gulick coined the word portscope to describe the functions of management. This word is made up of the initials of following functions, namely planning, organizing, directing, staffing, coordinating, reporting and busting. Thus we can say that there is no universally accepted classifications of managerial functions. But at the same time, it is significant to note that though there is disagreement over the grouping and classification of management functions, there is general agreement that certain functions exist. Joseph Massey prescribed a list of 7 functions of management, namely decision making, organizing, staffing, planning, controlling, communicating and directing. G.R. Terry described managerial functions under 4 heads, which are planning, organizing, actuating and controlling. Kuntes and O'Donnell, who have adopted the following classification: planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. They have further said in practice, it is not always possible to place all managerial activities nearly into these categories, since the functions tend to coalesce. The basic reason for so many classifications of functions of management is that different authors discuss them by studying different organizations. Even if we accept any one of these classifications, it should be kept in mind that these functions are not interdependent and they frequently overlap each other. However, for the purpose of analysis of management process, we can divide the management functions into planning, organizing, staffing, directing and controlling. These functions are briefly described here. Planning. Dear friends, brothers and sisters, you are listening. What are the characteristics and features of the manager and administrator? So our country, our society, our nation is being handled by the supreme manager as a present Prime Minister Saint Dr. Narendra Modi ji. Thanks for listening. Thanks listeners and learners. Nice to see you, nice to meet all of you, nice to think about you. Healthy, wealthy and wise. May God bless all of you. Thanks a lot of you.